Hello, Alex Jordan here with your Canfield Weekly Update. This week's update is going to come to you folks with a heavy heart. Events happening across the country, especially down in Florida. We send those folks our well wishes, and they're in our thoughts and prayers with school violence, active shooting. It's a horrible scenario to think about, but just to let all of our community know, we do think about this, not only think about it, talk about it, evaluate our plans here in the district, but just because we have a plan doesn't mean that we stop with that plan. We always continue to evaluate and check boxes as our administrators, staff, go through hallways, talk with students, talk with others. So we want to make sure that we get the message out to our community that this is not a one-person deal. This is not a top-down mentality. Actually, without your help, without the student body's help, and so this is a message to them as well, we have to be vigilant in our actions. We have to be aware of what's going on. We can't prop doors. We can't hold doors for guests, for people that we're unaware of. Even if you know that individual, it's our job in the office to buzz each person in and also understand what their business is for that day and why they're there. So that's very important. And understand the events are happening with students or alum of those school systems. That's scary. So that's a message to our student body. Be with us. Communicate with us. If you know something's taking place, or you know there could be a threat, or you know something could be happening, please communicate with someone in the building. We have authority figures in the building. We have staff in the building. We have guidance counselors in the building. Speak with someone. Speak with a fellow student and go with them to an adult. You don't have to go alone. You're not in this alone. Just understand that. We're behind you. We'd like to mention, we talk about evaluating and getting better at what we do. Just like to highlight a few items that we have done just in the past handful of years here throughout our school system. First off, we were able to walk into our schools years ago, if you remember, without even being buzzed in. So now we have a buzzer system with a camera on our entrance. That's why we direct all of our guests and everyone coming into the building to one entrance. And secretarial staff, administrators are the ones that are able to find out who's having access to our buildings through that buzzer system. We have video cameras that we make sure that as soon as you drive into our parking lots, you're on video, you're on a camera. So just be aware of that. Years ago, we did not have working cameras, not only exterior, but interior. So now we're able to make sure. Now understand, cameras are not necessarily proactive. Those are to find out events that happen after the fact. So again, we have to remind folks, be vigilant and communicate. Panic buttons. It's terrible that events happen in society, but it's kind of like history. We learn from it. So in Columbine, in Chardon, in these tragic instances, we learned that response time is the #1 factor when it comes to saving lives. I can't believe I'm even saying that for schools, but it's the #1 factor. So we have panic buttons having access with our secretaries and administrators along with athletic department, so that if they are aware of something happening, they depress that button and an alert goes to every safety cruiser in our community. Actually, we had example of this. We had a button depressed at C.H. Campbell a few years back, and it took 38 seconds for a cruiser to come across the lawn. Yes, across the lawn. Understand, they're going to converge on our properties. As soon as they find out something's happening that way, they are coming without any question. They don't call to find out what's happening. They come ready to defend. So understand, response time is key. Those panic buttons are very important. Two-way radios, we communicate not only internal, but with transportation department. Our bus drivers have these available to them. So we upgraded those in our administrators' hands, so we're able to communicate not only with ourselves, but dispatch. So we have a channel on these two ways that we can actually contact, immediately dispatch to get cruisers here immediately, whether it's Sheriff's Department or CPD. Safe Schools account. What's nice about this, technology is able to be available, videos that our staff can have access to. Let's say they have a planning period that they're able to update themselves on what's happening when it comes to restraint, seclusion. That's going to be a topic we're going to talk about also. So if we have a situation where we have to restrain or seclude someone, there's training online to make sure that our staff's updated. You can take CPR online. You can take many different things online, and that Safe Schools account's available for all of our staff. Anywhere from an aide to a classroom teacher. I have taken those Safe School courses myself. Outstanding availability. Also ALICE training. It's the #1 resource that we can give our staff when it comes to active shooter or events happening in the building. I want to remind folks, years ago we just talked about lockdown. So we lock down, we turn the lights off in the room, and we think that just because there's an intruder, an active shooter, they're not going to see us. That's not the case. So lockdown is a part of ALICE, but ALICE training actually gives input, gives staff control, students control of their own safety. It's just not sit and wait for somebody to come save them. So if they know something's happening at one end of the building and they're at the other, they hightail it out of here. They get out of the building, and it doesn't matter where they go. And I have to let you folks know this. When we talk about safety plans, we don't share those with everybody. There's a reason for that. We communicate with Homeland Security. Yes, Homeland Security. And they're the ones that tell us, do not communicate your plans with folks. Keep it internal. Keep it with the select few so that we make sure that we understand that when we talk about an evacuation plan or a point of safety, not everybody knows where that point of safety is, purposely. And we've actually used those safety plans already. If you recall, we had a heating and cooling unit that caught fire at CH. We used that plan for evacuation. We brought youngsters to the high school before anybody knew it in the community. Why? Because we thought of student safety first. Because we get it. I'm a father also. I hear something's happening in my daughter's school. Where am I going to go? I'm sorry, folks. I'm leaving my job. I'm going to protect her. Whatever I can do. But guess what? I know you're thinking the same thing. So we have to make sure that those plans are secure. PA system at the high school. Years ago, we had a PA system that we couldn't even communicate into the classrooms, let alone outside. So if we have youngsters outside now, let's say at a phys ed class, and they're out on one of the fields, and there's something happening not only within the school, but in the community, we could communicate outside with that PA system to get folks inside protected. Also, every department, every class also has that PA system now. Give you an example. We're going to be in Mr. Einot's woodshop class, and you know it gets noisy in there. There's actually a blinking light that will go off and let folks know that there's an important message coming across the PA. State of the art, available for your youngsters at CHS. So those are some upgrades that just took place over the last handful of years. We're not perfect. We're not 100%. We're going to continue to try to grow. If you see something, if you notice something that you might have a question about, feel free to email us. Feel free to call us at the central office. Be happy to talk with you. Maybe you know something we don't. We don't know it all, folks. So let us know. Give us an update. Give us some recommendations. Be happy to take it from you. But understand, we have 2,800+ students along with staff in this district. They might not carry our last names, but we treat them like family. We want to make sure that they are safe and secure, and we will do everything in our power to do so. We end this all the time, and it's a message that we send out that's actually being photocopied and copied across the county right now. But it truly is a great time to be a Cardinal.